Hello everybody and welcome back to Sweet Cheat Sheets. Today we're making one of my absolute favorite snacks, Pão de Queijo. These delicious crunchy cheesy bread balls bring me back to my childhood summers visiting my vovó in Brazil. My first attempt started with what I thought was my grandmother's caregiver's original recipe, translated just for me. What could have possibly gone wrong, right? The instructions seemed straightforward enough, milk, butter, heat it up until it boils. Everything seemed to be falling perfectly into place. Each step preparing for the next, setting us up for what felt like a smooth classic recipe. Right until the hot liquid was added to our tapioca flour.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
At this point, I expected the dough to thicken up, but that obviously didn't happen, and instead I got this non-Newtonian fluid instead. And I was hoping the cheese would help, but obviously it didn't. Trying to roll these into perfect little balls didn't really work, and as you can see, the more time the balls are on the sheet, the flatter they get. And here it is, my flat, surprisingly crispy Brazilian cheese crackers, maybe? Not quite the pão de queijo I remember from vovó's. So let's fix it. My initial suspicions were spot on. There was way too much liquid, and taste-wise, it needed a bit more salt. So I dove into different recipes online, both in English and Portuguese, mixed and matched, and I found out that I didn't only need to tweak the amounts, which I did, definitely, but I could take different approaches with some of the ingredients. And with all of that new information, it's time for round 2. And we immediately start with a new ingredient. We're using oil instead of butter. Then we'll add only half the amount of milk this time and bring it to a boil. I do want to point out that switching the butter out for oil was a recipe choice, and you can definitely use either. Watch it froth up and then take it off the stove. While our liquid base is chilling, we combine our tapioca flour with a full tablespoon of salt this time. Now for the true magic, adding our still hot but not boiling liquid base to our tapioca and salt base. This is the most important moment of our redemption arc. This is the moment we find out if our recipe worked or not. And I'm so happy and relieved to say it works, and it works well. Next, we'll incorporate our eggs one at a time. Only add the second egg if the dough feels too dry. If it's already soft and sticky, a second egg can make it too runny to shape, and we don't want to go into that again. Now we'll add a generous amount of 2 cheeses, mozzarella for the perfect stretch, and parmesan for saltiness and depth of flavor. To make our life a bit easier at this point, we'll do the first mix in the mixer. Then, because it doesn't get all the little pieces from the bottom, we'll knead it by hand. Once mixed, what we're left with is a wonderfully soft, pliable dough. Exactly what we were looking for. No liquid drama this time. Rolling the dough into perfect little spheres feels like an absolute breeze. They hold their shape beautifully on the tray and are ready for the oven. By the way, this recipe makes enough for 2 full trays. and they're out of the oven. They're golden, perfectly puffed, and smelling like heaven. The difference is like day and night. The ultimate test, the cheesy pull. They're soft, airy, chewy, and absolute delight. This is it. This is what summers at Vovó's felt like. As always, thanks for watching. If you recognized any of the landscapes in the videos, let me know in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.